All right, guys, welcome to the Not Move podcast. It's LG here today. Um, so what we have here, we're going to go over, a few things. First off, we're going to go over the preview for the next week or tomorrow with the Commanders game, and we're going to be going over last week's game as well. So there's a lot that's going on in the last few weeks. I have missed a few recaps here and there, but we're here now. That's what matters. So it is the end of week one. What we're looking at here is um, the difference in between what we were expecting coming into the season and what Micah has done to change those expectations and what we've seen on the field. So when you go to look at what Micah has done to our team, you're going to see a play here really quickly. Hold on while I play that for you.
They got to shore that up, and it will improve as the year goes on, and those will be catches. 2nd and 10.
You see Micah right here, getting ready to chase him down.
Scott's being chased by Parsons. Look out! He's got him.
Gets his first sack of the season here. So with this in mind, if you look at the rest of excuse me, sorry. If you look at the rest of the game, you're going to see a lot of times where when Michael was on the field, a lot of attention was drawn to him. And excuse me, sorry about that. And with that in mind, a lot of the other people got sacks as well. So we got, I think Devontae Wyatt got a sack, Lucas Van Ness had a sack, and Rashawn Gary had a sack as well. If it wasn't a sack, it was a half a sack. So it does seem like we're getting pressure. Coming into this season myself, I was not expecting our D-line to be this well. Michael Parsons only played less than 50% of the snaps today, on Sunday, and somehow we're still becoming we have the best D-line. I don't care what anybody else thinks. We have the best D-line. I did come into the season thinking the Giants were going to be with the name value, but with this new addition of Micah Parsons, we're seeing a lot of success. And with that also in mind, we did see our run defense do very well. A lot of people were going to doubting our run defense since we were losing against Kenny Clark. So in this game specifically, we held Jahmyr Gibbs down. We held David Montgomery down. It was a very sound game for our defense. We got an interception on Jared Goff. And excuse me, sorry about that. We got an interception on Jared Goff, and Jordan Love did his thing. He did throw an interception that was reversed because of Aiden Hutchinson's roughing the passer call, but otherwise it was a pretty clean game. We weren't walking up and down the field. The Lions defense still did its job. The pass rush was a little non-existent in my opinion, but that might not just be the pass rush, but that might be that our O-line got better. Our offensive line played absolutely superb. Jordan Love had more than 4 to 5 seconds in the pocket multiple times during the game, and he had plenty of time to do what he wanted. So, after a certain amount of time, our receivers are going to get open, and that's exactly what happened here today. Another thing that I think we addressed in the offseason that it did not look like we addressed in the preseason. This is only week 1, so anything can happen from now to week 18. But from what I'm seeing here, we fixed the drop problem. If I'm not mistaken, there was no drops today. There might have been some bad throws, maybe 1 or 2 that I saw on Sunday, but for the most part, it does look like we're doing good on keeping the ball in our hands, because that was a very big problem last season. One thing I did miss, Matthew Golden. I kind of wanted to see this as a statement game. But with that in mind, that we did draft Matthew Golden, I think I did forget our identity. Our identity lately has been spread the ball around, and that is exactly what we did in that game. 10 different receivers had a reception in this game, and collectively we did very well. With that in mind, I think around in the first quarter or the second quarter, 8 receivers had already had 8 catches. So that's amazing in that standpoint. Now, there was a few things that we had some hiccups on. Let me go ahead and show you what I have here. Give me a quick second. All right. So if we're looking at the rushing yards, here yesterday, Josh Jacobs right here had 19 attempts for 66 yards, which was not the best. I do give props to the Lions rush defense. It didn't look like they were getting penetration, but they were getting stops right after he passed the offensive the first line, which is insane. They were going crazy on him. But I don't really think it was his fault in that game. I think we were just playing a very good defensive line. Props to the Lions for that. But when it came to our passing game, we did whatever we wanted, essentially. Another thing that I think that we need to work on as well, Jeff Hafley specifically, is our schemes when it comes to covering the pass. I saw a lot of times on Sunday where we were running man coverage against Amon-Ra St. Brown. We do not have the cornerbacks to be playing man coverage against Amon-Ra, much less Sam Laporta. So looking at that game, you see a lot of times where we could have stopped them on third down even more, but you have Carrington Valentine on Amon-Ra St. Brown on a drag route or on a slant or on an out route, and he's getting absolutely toasted. No offense to Carrington Valentine, but you can't handle Amon-Ra. That is what it is. I think we're the best. We're in our best form when we're in zone coverage. Zone coverage seems to be the best thing that we're looking at. Man coverage, we did have a few man covers that were pretty nice, but nothing too insane. Now, let's move on into next week. Well, tomorrow, actually. Next week's game, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night against the Commanders. Now, if we watch the Commanders-Giants game, you would see that the Commanders' defense did have they were getting penetration, as well as they were playing really good in the pass, which I think is a little hard to do when you have neighbors out there, as well as it is a little hard to get penetration. Well, it isn't hard to get penetration on the Giants' offensive line. They're not good. But it is still surprising coming from the Commanders, who didn't have a really good defense last season. It was pretty subpar. A lot of room for improvement. But so now we're coming into this game against Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and his squad, while, Green Bay Packers are, if I'm not mistaken, we're at home for this game. Let me just check that really quickly. So it does look like that we're at home for this game. So one, we got home field advantage. It is a short week, but it does seem as if, according to the Packers, that Micah Parsons is going to be playing all the snaps or at full capacity. So that's very hopeful for us. And if we can get disruption on that offensive line for Jayden Daniels, it'll give us a better chance to fluster him. It takes a lot to fluster Jayden Daniels from what I'm seeing. He still works his magic almost every game. It's very few that I don't see Jayden Daniels going absolutely insane or finding some way to clutch. With that in mind, I think we're going to have to run a lot of QB contain just to make sure we keep him in the pocket and get him pressure in there. Because if he gets outside the pocket, he's going to dust us. He's going to absolutely blur all of our defenders. And that's a problem. And if Jayden Daniels gets elusive, I know for a fact that we do not have the personnel past our front four to cover and tackle him. We have had issues with tackling in recent memory or open field tackles. So I don't know if that's completely fixed yet. I did see a few missed open tackles in the Lions game. So we just gotta make sure we're running some QB spy concepts as well as some QB contain. And if that doesn't work, then I guess it's blitz heavy. We're just gonna blitz him, get him all flustered. I think that our cornerbacks as well as our safeties can handle Terry McLaurin to a certain extent, maybe to slow him down. The running game, to me, is a little non-existent. So I'm not kind of worried about that specifically. It's the Commanders. The running game isn't there. So with us, what I think we're going to need to establish in this game, we're going to need to establish the run against that defensive line. We didn't get to completely establish it in the last game with the Lions, but with this one, we totally, and I mean totally, need to establish the run. We established the run dominance. We don't have to force Jordan Love to throw over 25 passes, and that means we have a less chance of throwing an interception. And once we establish that in this game, which should be a little bit easier than the Lions game, then we're good as gravy. As long as we keep the lead, please, to at least 2 scores, because 1 score is kind of iffy when we're talking about Jayden Daniels. Keep it to about 2 scores during the game. Start off hot like we usually do. Most first quarter points. We get, well, not first quarter points. Yeah, I think last season, yeah, we had the most first quarter points. We get all those points in. We start off fast. And we may not have to end fast, but we need to stay consistent. We need to either get stops on defense or consistently score. Even if it's just 3 points here, 6 or 7 points there, then, that's fine. But we got to stay ahead of the Commanders. We can't stay behind, and we can't stay on the same pace, because we have, I think that Jayden Daniels has a much higher clutch factor than Jordan Love. And that kind of scares me. So with that in mind, just be looking out this week for the Commanders-Packers game on Thursday. And just watch those key things that I told you about, and we'll see. I personally have us in this game, a little high-scoring game. I'm going to take us to I'm going to say 29-26. It's going to be the end score. We win by a field goal. I think we get a stop on defense. I think it's going to be a sack. Jayden Daniels doesn't really throw arid balls for interception. So, I say 29-26. We win this game in a close one. I think we're going to start off. We're going to start off in a close game. It's going to separate towards the third quarter, and then they're going to try to come back in the fourth. By then, it'll be too late. But, always hopeful for that. I think that's all that we can go over today. I appreciate all the viewers for coming out for today's Not Move podcast with LG, the Green Bay Packers edition. And go Pack Go, because this is the season that we need to lock in. We might not make it to the Super Bowl, but this is the season that we need to lock in. And if that's all, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your morning.